Hello, it's me again, and we are very happy that International Pentecost University Home Business have been around for 2 years and a half. And as always, right, we are interested in to motivate the people who doesn't have any longer interest to pursue their English education because whatever the reasons. But if you think about it, the importance behind learning the language is that you can be able to understand what is being said. Le estamos dando gracias a Dios, ¿verdad? Porque estamos reunidos otra vez, ¿verdad? Y le digo que, como siempre, International Pentecost University Home Business, ¿verdad? Negocio en casa, ¿verdad? Porque esta es una institución website, ¿verdad? Es nada más internet y estamos haciendo una prueba, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo se ve? ¿Cómo se oye? ¿Hasta dónde puede alcanzar? ¿Quiénes son los que miran, ¿verdad? Y existe una página, ¿verdad? Es el http, ¿verdad? IPUinstruction.com. Y ahí puede encontrar usted una invitación de un sinnúmero de clases y workshops que tenemos, ¿verdad? En el www.google.com, ¿verdad? Donde where you can open right in Google an account where you can be able to subscribe to the classes and the programs and the workshops, right, free, right? We're asking a cooperation on the page, right, of $10 or something like that, right? Whatever that you feel like you want to donate. It's not a it is a cooperation. It's not a donation, right? And we encourage you to have your Bible, right? Bilingual Bible, Spanish and English, or whichever language you speak, right? So you can see the patterns of language in both sides, right? Whether you're speaking Spanish and you're learning English, or you speak English and learning Spanish, right? It is the same thing, right? And along with it, we suggest you the University of Chicago Dictionary, right? Or if you can have another one, an encyclopedia or whatever you can put your hands on in order to find translation for your words, right? And that's how we believe, right, that it can become handy. And this is Cookie, and she wants more broccoli. And you want another carrot. Say hi, say hi. Canta. Oh, 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 oh. Sit down, Mamarita. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. And we are very happy, right, to have been for 2 years and a half, right, making you to provide the English language, right, training bilingual, right, y que estamos contentos, ¿verdad?, de poder llevarle esta instrucción bilingüe en inglés y en español, English and Spanish, and soon we'll be introducing the Hebrew, right? We have been teaching some alphabet, right? We call it alphabet, right? And eventually we'll be speaking Hebrew too in our workshops, right? In order to tell people, right, and to train people and to gather, right, to make and open bridges of peace in between the nations, right? Because that's the job of every single one or the new professionists and the professionists that there are in the USA, right? USA has always good making friends everywhere and trading with other countries, and that's how we want to keep this tradition, right? And that's how we're learning languages in order to trade our expertise, right, our education, and to make a profit, right, for the good of all the countries that we're putting our feet on, and making friends also, right? So right now we're talking about the Bible, right? We're reviewing Pentateuch, and this is another way to review the language. A lot of people have a lot of interest in to read the Bible in order to understand the language, right? And it's going to be a lot of blessings for the country if we believe, right, that learning the word of the Lord can be a seed our life, right, of blessings, especially choosing the right words, learning the words that are supposed to be meaningful to provide peace and diplomacy, to make the dreams come true, to make American dreams come true, to become the professionist with all the gifts of the Holy Spirit, right? Decimos, ¿verdad?, que hemos pensado que leyendo la Biblia, aprendiendo inglés leyendo la Biblia, puede ser de bendición, ¿verdad?, para todos los que quieren aprender el idioma, ¿verdad?, porque aprende un lenguaje pacífico y diplomático. Y de esta manera se puedan hacer sus sueños realidad. Y de esta manera se puede hacer su sueño americano realidad, ¿verdad? Y hablábamos nosotros, ¿verdad?, del Pentateuco. We're talking about Pentateuch, and we were talking already about Genesis. We talk about Exodus. We talk about Leviticus, and we're going to talk about Deuteronomy, right? And this book, it was a very important, right? When people came back from exile, when they were slavering in Egypt, right? And so when the Levite was the chosen people in order to command the house of the Lord, the sacrifices of animals in order to clean the people from impurities and mental impurities, right? And physical impurities and wrongdoings, right? And how the dress should be around people, and how the women and how the women should come out from giving birth, and how everything should be at marriages, and how the dining should be, and all the washing of dishes, and everything. The Lord was in charge to put order and allow people to be and have everything they were able to need, right? So Deuteronomy, it was with the intention to revise the right once again, as people was already instructed in to how to do everything, right? And we see how from the beginning, right, the head of the families, right, the leader of all the people, right, was very unhappy, right, with the heads of the tribes, because they were not really doing good, right? There was what we know, right, when they came back from the exile, they have habits, right, slave habits from the slavery, that they were abused, and they learned different ways of behaving, right? And also at the same time, they were practicing the brutally, right, in between themselves, because they were slaves. And all this stuff remember that all these people was washed out during the 40 years as they were pilgrims around the desert, and they were encamping, or they were just lost in the desert over there, according to the Holy Scriptures. That's what we know. And so when they came back, most of the people were left here and there because pregnancies, because they were ill and they were not able to continue. And they were encouraged to move on where the Lord had promised the land, right? Whether if they made it or not, we know that all the people, right, who supposed to be walking maybe 10 kilometers went around 40 years, right, for whatever the reasons. And so that's how the people passed away, right? So still, the young people, they were practicing things, right? Especially sexual issues, right? That the Lord was interested in have them corrected, right? And that's how we see that they had to review the law, right? And so all the people with all the Levites and all this, special meetings with the Lord were taking place in order to revise the law and to tell people what was the business all about, and once forever how it's supposed to be done in order to preserve life, right? Because it looked like people were not understanding what the life was all about, right? It's just like if we have the health department coming over and saying, oh, you cannot have all this mess around here and you're going to have a ticket, right? Decimos nosotros que en aquellos tiempos, ¿verdad? Cuando la gente regresó de Egipto, ¿verdad? Estaba la gente muy mal acostumbrada, tenían costumbres de esclavos. Y los esclavos, así como los asaltaban, ellos también eran capaces de asaltar a otros, ¿verdad? Y a ellos mismos. Entonces, también sus formas, ¿verdad? No solamente de vida, ¿verdad? Sexualmente, las cosas de la limpieza, ¿verdad? Como los estuvo revisando Dios con precaución y con mucho cuidado para sostener la vida, ¿verdad? Para sostener la vida, pues decimos que hoy, ¿verdad? Si viniera el departamento, ¿verdad?, de salud, ellos vendrían y dirían que se encontraran muchas cosas que no están buenas, ¿verdad? Por falta de entrenamiento, por falta de información, que la gente no sabe cómo se hacen a veces, ¿verdad? Que muchas cosas, por ejemplo, el pollo no se puede quedar afuera más de 2 horas a temperatura ambiente. Just like the chicken cannot stay outside for more than 2 hours a room temp because it's going to go bad, right? It's just the same thing, like he said that the food cannot be more than 1 day. He was giving them the opportunity to keep the food for 1 day. He was very grateful, 24 hours, right? Because everything was going to spoil, right? Or produce warm or just right away, that people were not able or cannot have sex with children, that people cannot have sex in different ways, or people cannot eat from the other body because they will become mentally ill, that people cannot kiss too much, right? Because it's like eating the other person body, right? Products from another person, and that makes the person ill. That people cannot have sex, right, with multiple partners because they have a blood type, a different kind. And we all know this very, very seriously, that when people go to get married and they go to present themselves with a priest, right? They go and test themselves the blood type, right? For whatever the reasons and illness, and go and take shots, and because the blood contains every single thing that is going on in a family, right? In another family. So the sex with multiple partners and sex with animals and everything related with stealing, right? Because it looked like somehow some adult could have go and take from the hands of a child some food, right? And just leave the children without eating. And it looks like the men could go and just rape some teenager or some child or maybe a grown-up lady without concern just because they were drunk, right? Or because digamos, ¿verdad? Que la ley tenía que revisarse otra vez porque como las personas habían regresado de su vida de andar de esclavos, ¿verdad? Ya estaban haciendo sexo, ¿verdad? Con múltiples parejas, andaban ya asaltando sexualmente a los niños, ya andaban haciendo sexo con los animales, ya les importaba poco, ¿verdad? Las cosas que se tenían que hacer, y por esa razón es que se revisaba la ley. Y decíamos nosotros, ¿verdad?, que los patriarcas de las familias de aquellos tiempos, ¿verdad?, estaban muy desconformes con lo que estaban haciendo algunas de las cabezas de las tribus, ¿verdad? Y ellos mismos, ¿verdad? Se llamaban chacales, ¿verdad? Que por qué andaban haciendo eso, y venía el jefe de la familia y arremetía verbalmente en contra de las gentes, ¿verdad? A manera de poderles hacer entender que la conducta que tenían no era una conducta aceptable, ¿verdad? Entonces la ley se revisó detalle por detalle, ¿verdad? Diciéndole claramente a las personas, ¿verdad?, cómo iba a ser para poder vivir delante de la presencia de Dios, ¿verdad? Porque los seres humanos, and so this way, all these things that were written, right? It was written and it says clearly what it was happening with the people back then. And so that's how all the little details, if you get to take the Deuteronomy and you see everything, it is very nice. I advise you to get a notebook and to write as much as possible, right? Just write on the first line everything as it is, whether if you speak English, just write it in English, or if you speak Spanish, write it in Spanish. Cuando vaya y tiene por ahí la Biblia, comience a leer el Deuteronomio, ¿verdad? Y lea, escriba en un cuaderno, ¿verdad? En el cuaderno que usted tiene, que le he sugerido que tenga su cuaderno, ¿verdad? Para que se enriquezca de conocimiento, ¿verdad? Porque si yo le digo todo, pues qué caso tiene, ¿verdad? Que yo esté aquí diciéndole todo cuando usted puede despertar dones del Espíritu Santo en su mente cuando de pronto va y se llena, ¿verdad?, de mucha información. Entonces, vemos nosotros, ¿verdad?, cómo se puede escribir la frase que usted lee en la Biblia y luego la va traduciendo, ¿verdad?, para que tenga usted un acercamiento más con el idioma que usted quiere aprender. And this way, right, you can get to know more about Deuteronomy, right? Everything is in there. Every single thing is in there. Entonces, esa es una de las cosas, ¿verdad?, más importantes que el Señor siempre quiso quitarse. Habíamos nosotros hecho, ¿verdad?, un estudio profundo del libro de Génesis con respecto a los asaltos que tuvo Adán, ¿verdad?, cuando estaba en el paraíso. Y llegamos nosotros, ¿verdad?, leyendo entre las líneas, we end up saying, reading between the lines, right, that evil, right, Satan, was looking for to find any beauty in Eden, right? Le buscaba una clase de belleza a Adán because Satan was built and with a lot of music and with a lot of richness and with a lot of things, and he was Satanás era el más bello en aquellos entonces, ¿verdad? Entonces, he always thought he will be like that, right? Pero when he refused to do the will of the Lord, cuando él cambió, ¿verdad? Su vanidad en vez de obediencia, ¿verdad? Y lealtad, ¿verdad? El equipo que tenía se le cayó. When he refused to do what he was done for, what he was made for, that equipment got necrosized, right? Se le necrosó el equipo, ¿verdad? Que le había puesto el Señor, ¿verdad? Porque ya no lo usó. Entonces nosotros sabemos, ¿verdad? We all know that when somebody doesn't use something, it disappears with the time. Se desaparece por un tiempo, por el tiempo, ¿verdad? And if you don't like to use it anymore, it's just trashed out. Y si no lo quiere usar más la gente, y luego todo se va a la basura. O se le cae, o se le pierde, o anda rodando, o se desbarata, ¿verdad? O it just becomes undone. Entonces el hombre fue hecho de la tierra. Then man was done right out of clay. And how beautiful a clay can be, right? De qué belleza tendría un barro. That's how evil was coming around the man. Por eso Satanás venía alrededor de Adán, ¿verdad? Porque lo quería conquistar. Because Satan wanted to conquer the man. Y hacerlo incondicional para Satanás, para él mismo. To make him unconditional for Satan, right? Because Satan thought man was stupid. Porque Satanás pensaba que el hombre estaba estúpido, ¿verdad? We all have read in the Bible that the man was made, nosotros hemos leído en la Biblia que el hombre está hecho un poquito menos que los ángeles, ¿verdad? We all have read that the man has been made a little lower than the angels, right? And so we can be able to speak angelical tongues. Nosotros podemos ser capaces de llegar a hablar lenguas angelicales. We can be able to speak in tongues, ¿verdad? Nosotros podemos hablar las lenguas, ¿verdad? Con Dios, con Dios, with God, right? We can be able to speak tongues with God. And so Satan thought he could have, some sort of like created an embellished environment, crear un ambiente, ¿verdad? De embelezo, ¿verdad? And to speak and to throw, right? Whatever that he had in his body, ¿verdad? Cuando el enemigo se acerca, ¿verdad? Es ¿verdad? O nosotros decimos que viene con su lumbre, ¿verdad? Por ahí, ¿verdad? Y está dicho, ¿verdad? Que cierta clase de metabolismo, it's been said that certain kind of metabolism reaccionó with the nature or body, que reaccionó con la naturaleza o el cuerpo of Adam, which caused certain mutation, que le causó una cierta mutación, or something came in, o algo, ¿verdad? Que Satanás no quiso, came into the man, vino a ser parte del hombre, ¿verdad? Cuando Satanás se acercaba, when Satan was getting close to Adam, right? We are thinking that some sort of leaves or some sort of a parts of Satan's body was intertwined with the metabolism and the fruits and the food that Adam was eating, ¿verdad? Like Satan was interested in feeding himself from Adam, since he was made out of clay, que el Satanás se quería alimentar a través del hombre como estaba hecho de tierra, right? And all this energy and metabolisms that are the spark of in the life of Adam, ¿verdad? Y de toda la energía y del metabolismo y de la chispa que le mantenía o le sostenía la vida, de manera que se quedaba en ascuas, ¿verdad? And this way, the Adam was some sort like a sleepy, right? Like he was somehow unconscious. That's why, and the Lord saw that it was not good for Adam to be by himself. Por eso el Señor pensó que no estaba bien que el hombre estuviera o anduviera por ahí solo, porque the evil was trying to conquer Adam against him for Satan, not for the good of Adam, right? Adam. And so this way, there is a lot going on. There is so much you can see through it, right? And this way, the Lord just created the unconditional help, which is the woman, right? And that way, Adam wouldn't be thinking in Satan, but in Eve, right? And that's how the evil hate the women. Por eso el hombre tuvo a Eva, ¿verdad? Cuando se dio cuenta, ¿verdad? Dios que no le estaba favoreciendo que anduviera solo por ahí el hombre, pues le hizo una pareja, ¿verdad? Incondicional para que anduvieran ahí platicando y se olvidara, ¿verdad? De el Satanás, ¿verdad? Y de esta manera Eva estaría ahí donde la entrenaría y le explicaría y anduvieran, ¿verdad? Haciendo el trabajo que Dios le dijo, ¿verdad? Y así no estaría pensando en el Satanás que andaba por ahí queriendo gobernarle la mente al hombre, right? And this way, having Eve, the man will be working with somebody else, thinking about Eve to serve the Lord, right? Rather than being listening and caring for Satan, right? And Satan hated, y el Satanás odió this right decision, and forever women will step on Satan's head, y para siempre la mujer siempre va a pisar en la cabeza, ¿verdad? Para matar a la serpiente, ¿verdad? Y no le subiría ni al polvo de sus pies, ¿verdad? And this way it won't raise not even higher than her heel. Y se dice, ¿verdad? Que la serpiente, and it's been said that the serpent will bite the heel of Eve, ¿verdad? Que la serpiente va a ir a morder el tobillo de Eva, ¿verdad? And that's it. Y así la mujer protegió, ¿verdad? And this way the women protected the men forever, right? And that became the strength, and that was made the strong the path of a man with the Lord, right? Where the evil became some other level for the man or Adam, right? And that's the way the Lord came in to help the innocent, right? In order to help him out and send his son to raise the blood in us, right? The blood of Christ, to reach out and to become the creation that the Lord at the first time he created, right? And to put in friendship the man with the Lord again, right? Through Christ. Entonces vemos nosotros que la ley era importante porque se había caído. The law has been dropped by men back then because the friendship, right, that the evil was interested in to engage with Adam, right? Some sort of like a love affair he was trying to make with Adam, right? And so that's how the women came in place, and that's how the man was saved, and that's how Jesus Christ came from a woman, and that's how the man and the name of a man was, right, placed again and kings forever with Christ, right? And we become a royalty again, right, with Christ. And that's the good idea, right, that we see, right, that is very good that we all uphold the law and that we revise the law in Deuteronomy because it applies to all the time. if somebody wants to live a little bit, we're supposed to be living 126 days, right? And if we have the kind of science that we have nowadays, we should be able to live 250 days, right? But people somehow, as they are not reading Deuteronomy and they're not watching what they're supposed to be done with their bodies, what they should be done with every single detail, right? It's just right there. It's written in order to hold the life for a longer, right? For a little bit longer. So that's what we have. And let us just continue next time, right? Revising numbers, which is the last book of Pentateuch. Esto es todo lo que tenemos que decir por ahorita. Le invitamos para que lea el Deuteronomio, ¿verdad? Si le explico yo todas las cosas, lo que yo quiero es que revise y repase el idioma inglés, ¿verdad? Don't forget to check your words. No se le olvide checar su diccionario, right? The sentence and the sentences, and compare, right? The phrases and the meaning, right? From English to Spanish with the Bible, right? Entonces, vamos a dar gracias a Dios, ¿verdad? Que estuvimos juntos. Vamos a unirnos la próxima vez, donde vamos a estar hablando del números, ¿ok? Que Dios lo bendiga y vamos a vernos la próxima vez.